All right, this is part 2 of our lesson on solving rational equations such as these. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, you should go back and watch that first. If you have watched part 1, then you should be able to do this problem by yourself. So I encourage you to pause the video and do the problem by yourself first. We definitely need to factor this, so that's going to give us 2x over x plus 1 plus 3 over x minus 1 equals 15 minus x. And yes, if I wanted to, I could write that as negative x minus 15. Remember that? But we don't need to do that on a problem like this because we're just going to wind up combining like terms anyway. Alright, but this is going to be x plus 1 times x minus 1. So, I need to multiply by the least common denominator. Okay, the common denominator would be, and let's just put this in parentheses, the least common denominator would be x plus 1 times x minus 1. So that's what I'm going to multiply by everything. Okay, so let's see what all cancels out. So this x plus 1 cancels out here, this x minus 1 cancels out, and here the whole thing cancels out. Alright, let's see what that leaves behind. So here I've got the 2x times the x minus 1, that's still there. Then I've got the 3 times x plus 1, still there. And here all I have is the 15 minus x. Alright, little distributive property here. Okay, so that's going to give me 2x squared minus 2x, and then 3x plus 3. Okay, let's combine like terms over here. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus x plus 3 is equal to 15 minus x. Okay, now I see I have x squared and x, so I need to get everything on one side and factor. So let's add x to both sides, and let's subtract 15 from both sides. So that's going to give me 2x squared plus 2x minus 12 is equal to 0. Okay, notice the GCF of 2. If I were you, I would factor that out before I do anything else. Alright, so if I pull out that GCF of 2, then I've got 2 times x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Now please understand that if I want to, I can divide both sides by 2 right now. Okay, so that way these cancel out, and 0 divided by anything is 0. So really I just have x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Now go ahead and try to factor this. X squared is x times x. 6 is 2 times 3. Inner plus outer equals middle, guys. So that means inner I have 2x. Outer I have 3x. I'm shooting for a middle of positive 1. So I need a negative 2 and a positive 3. There's my negative 2, there's my positive 3. Alright, we have to make sure we are getting the negative 6. But a negative times a positive is a negative. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and set these factors equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. So this is going to give me x equals 2. And this one gives me x equals negative 3. Now let's look back and see what the restricted values were to make sure that none of these are excluded. Alright, the restricted values are x cannot equal 1 or negative 1. Okay, looking at all these denominators. Alright, x cannot equal 1, x cannot equal negative 1. Alright, so these are the solutions. And that is problem number 5. Alright, how about number 6? I'm definitely going to factor this thing down. So let's see, I will have 7x plus 3. And let's see how this thing factors. X squared, that's x times x. 15, I'm thinking 3 times 5. To make negative 8, I could use a negative 3 and a negative 5. And a negative times a negative makes a positive 15. So I will keep going. I have plus 3x over x minus 5. And then equals negative 1 over x minus 3. So I need my least common denominator. Alright, if I tried to make all the denominators the same, I would make them all into x minus 3 times x minus 5. So that's what I have to multiply by. X minus 3 times x minus 5. All 3 places. Okay, so now let's cancel out what we can. Alright, the x plus 3's cancel out here. The x minus 5's cancel out here. Oh wait, this whole thing cancels out. Alright, I forget. All of it cancels out. So here the x minus 5's cancel out, and here again the x minus 3's cancel out. So that's going to leave me with, alright, from this fraction, I've still got 7x plus 3. Okay, from this fraction, I'm going to go ahead and distribute here, if I may. So that'll be 3x squared minus 9x. And then I'm going to distribute this negative 1. Alright, so that'll be negative x plus 5. Okay, gotta combine like terms. Alright, 3x squared has no like terms, so I'm just gonna bring that down. Okay, but I see the 7x and the negative 9x, they go together. So that's gonna make negative 2x. And then I've got the plus 3. Alright, just bring that down. That equals negative x plus 5. So I need to add x to both sides. And subtract 5 from both sides. I'm getting everything on one side and I'm going to factor. So this will make 3x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, let's see if we can factor this. 3x squared, that's 3x times x. 2 is 2 times 1. If this doesn't work, I'll switch them the other way and put 1 and 2. Now, we know that inner plus outer equals middle. Inner, I have 2x. Outer, I have 3x. I'm trying to get a middle of negative 1. That will happen if I have a positive 2 and a negative 3. So there's my positive 2, and this will make negative 3. I also have to make sure I'm getting negative 2. Positive times a negative is a negative, so that's cool. So we factored it correctly. To find the solutions, I will go ahead and set these factors equal to 0. So 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so here I'm going to get x equals 1. Okay. I need to divide both sides by 3. So I'm getting x is equal to negative 2/3. So these are the solutions as long as none of these are restricted values. Okay, and my restricted values are x cannot equal 3 or 5. Okay, x cannot equal 3, x cannot equal 5. Those are my excluded values. So these are the solutions. Okay, that was number 6. All right, how about number 7? Okay, let's go ahead and factor this. So the numerator also factors. So I've got GCF here. So 3 times x plus 2 over x minus 2 times x plus 2 is equal to x plus 1 over x minus 2. So I'm noticing that I've got 2 factors I can cancel out now. But just let's take note of the restrictions early. X cannot equal 2. X cannot equal negative 2. Those are the restrictions from each of these. And this is the same. Now, with that in mind, these x plus 2's, we can cancel them out now. Okay, so that will leave us with 3 over x minus 2 is equal to x plus 1 over x minus 2. Now I could cross multiply here, since I just have a fraction equal to a fraction. But actually, the easiest thing to do is to continue to multiply by the denominator. So especially since the denominators are the same. So if I just multiply both sides by x minus 2, because that's my common denominator, then look what happens. The x minus 2's cancel out, and I'm left with a very simple equation. 3 equals x plus 1. Alright, if I then subtract 1 from both sides, that gives me 2 is equal to x, or x equals 2. Alright, so this will be the solution as long as it's not an excluded value. Uh-oh! My excluded values are x cannot be 2, x cannot be negative 2. Whoa. Alright, x can't be 2 or negative 2. Okay, because of these restrictions, this is not a valid solution. And that was the only solution we had. That means the answer is going to be no solution. Okay, and that was the answer number 7. Alright, so last problem, number 8. Okay, none of this stuff on the right is in the denominator. Okay? Only x is in the denominator. So when I multiply, I'm only going to multiply by x. So I would multiply by x here, 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 and here, all 4 places. So if I do that, the only thing that's going to happen is these x's are going to cancel out. So no more denominator. So that'll leave me with 15 minus x squared plus 8x is equal to 10x. Okay. So let's get... What's up?
How you doing?
Let's get everything on one side of the equation.
What?
So I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. Okay, so far that's going to give me 15 minus x squared minus 2x is equal to 0. My friend,
What's up, Mr. Barker?
what's going on? But these terms are out of order, so I need to rewrite these in the standard form. Peace out. So that's going to give me, in standard form, this would be negative x squared minus 2x plus 15 is equal to 0. Okay? Now, I can't factor it while it has this negative leading coefficient. So, let's divide everything by negative 1. And change all the signs. So that will make this x squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. Okay. So now I'm going to try to factor it. X squared will factor as x times x. 15, I'm thinking 3 times 5. Inner plus outer equals middle. Inner, I have 3x. Outer, I have 5x. I'm trying to get a middle of 2x. That will happen if I have a negative 3 and a positive 5. So that would mean negative 3 and positive 5. Also, that gives me negative 15, because a negative times a positive is a negative. So this is factored correctly. So I need to follow through. To find the solutions, I'm going to set these factors equal to 0 and solve. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 5 is equal to 0. Adding 3 to both sides here. Subtracting 5 from both sides here will give me x equals 3, x equals negative 5. So, as long as these are not restricted values, then these are my solutions. So, looking back, I only had one restricted value. X cannot be 0. Alright, so these are the two solutions for problem number 8. And that is the end of the lesson. I hope it was helpful. I will see you on the next video.